Joining me right now, National Review contributing editor, Deroy Murdock. Deroy, I'm looking at a pretty amazing stat here. First of all, 3,500, more than 3,500 shootings in 2016 in Chicago. But let's talk about Chicago police stops. This is the number of times the police in Chicago are actually stopping people because they're concerned about something. Do you know that it is down almost 90% versus 2015? What does that number tell you when the murder rate is as high as it is?
It tells me that what the Chicago Police Department is doing, what Rudy Giuliani said the NYPD did before he became mayor, which is basically observing crime. Oh my God, look, there's some crime, let's watch. And it's hard to blame the cops for doing that and not getting involved, because when they do, they've got Black Lives Matter screaming at them. They've got ACLU screaming at them. And now, after this Department of Justice report, I think you're going to have Uncle Sam basically riding along in every police car, essentially. And the cops are going to think, you know, if I talk to that person, if I stop this person, will the Department of Justice come after me? Will it be the ACLU lawsuit? Will Black Lives Matter be protesting in front of my house? So, you know what? I'll just keep driving. And that's just open season for criminals.
You know,
and murderers.
they want to keep their jobs. There's no incentive right now to stop the crime, because you run the risk that you're going to wind up in trouble yourself.
That's right.
By the way, you could wind up dead.
Wind up dead. You might be shot in the back of the head, like some cops have been, as you've seen.
But if you're accused of using too much force, you're going to have the likes of Loretta Lynch and company on your tail.
That's right. I mean, I think they have a very legitimate fear that if they get involved, if they're lucky, things go well. If they're a little less lucky, they'll be surrounded by people holding cell phone cameras and following them around and interrupting and interfering with their work. And then the worst case scenario, or even worse than that, then you've got the Department of Justice coming in and suing them, or who knows what. And you might get shot and killed, you know, as a lot of cops have been.
You think about the south side of Chicago. I mean, this is where a lot of this crime is happening, in very urban minority communities. These are the people that, you know, if you're just a hardworking mom trying to take care of your kids, and you're unfortunate enough to be living in a place like the south side of Chicago, you're trying to make ends meet, you're trying to keep your kids out of trouble. And by the way, it would help, right, if you actually had some police on your block.
That's it.
Making sure that the gangs were out of the neighborhood.
You've got the Department of Justice saying there's excessive force, and the flip side of it is no force. The cops just aren't there, and the bodies pile up, the homicides continue, the non-fatal shootings continue as well. And one thing, politically speaking, I find amazing is you have so many black folks who continue to vote Democrat. Chicago's a Democrat-run city. Baltimore's a Democrat-run city.
I think that's changing.
And you've got that going on.
Yeah,
and
I know.
And
those Democratic
policing on top of everything else
have done nothing to help that city. And Rahm Emanuel, he's got his work cut out for him. He should be held accountable for all of this. But I think it's starting to change. I mean, I think there's a lot of women, African Americans, Hispanics that are looking at the country right now and saying, okay, 8 years of this didn't really get us anywhere.
Nowhere.
Isn't it time we look beyond race, we look beyond color, we look beyond gender, and we just do what is right for us? Anyway, Deroy, always a pleasure.
Great to see you, Trish.
I hope so too.
Have a great weekend.
You too. We're going to be right back.